Well, to make a connected point, recently there were photos on the internet of Robert Downey Jr. in a comic store buying lots of Avengers comics and graphic novels, so that he could actually bone up for the next film. It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, I know for a fact from the interview I've seen of Mark Strong, who'll be playing Sinestro, which is a hefty and incredible role, and a big responsibility. And they gave him 2 specific graphic novels, 2 different versions of Hal Jordan's origin story, one of which quite heavily features Sinestro, so that he could get a better understanding of what they were aiming at.
Yeah, which is important, because you do actually need to know enough to know where you're aiming with a character.
Yeah, so it's good to actually see that they're actually being given
Yes.
hints towards the source material without them overbearing them with too much knowledge.
Yeah, I mean,
he mentioned in the interview that he knew about the eventually that Sinestro goes on to wearing a yellow powder ring, and about the Sinestro core as well.
Yeah.
So he knows of it, but he isn't bogged down with too much information.
Exactly, and that's the easy mistake to make, is to say, oh right, so I'm going to do this, so I need to go and buy all of the comic books and read all of them now and know everything about it, when actually you really don't. You need to know, this is where we're going to be taking the character in this film or these films, because that's actually more important than which of these versions of the storyline that are in however many hundreds of comics you like best. You need to know what they're going to be doing with the films, and you need to have some idea of who all the different characters are.
Well, it seems to me that it's going to allow them more the chance to just be actors, really, than being...
Which would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously they've got a great weight on their shoulders, but they're not worrying so much to actually being the way Green Lantern was on page so-and-so, panel whatever, or issue whatever. Exactly. That they're actually concentrating on the overall thing, even though they are aware that there's a big fan base behind it all.
Yes, but there's a big fan base behind just about any film that's being made at the moment, in one way or another.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to sort of something like, let's say, Sherlock Holmes. There's a fan base of people. Oh, there were Holmesians, and of course you had the Guy Ritchie fans as well, and Robert Downey Jr. fans. So you've already got a base of people who are interested in that, who are going to be very opinionated about it, despite the fact that it's not a comic book series, or it's not this series, it's not that series. Yeah. People are invested in all of these different characters for whatever reason. It's always going to be the same. It's about whether or not you make it something that people want to watch. Well,
there's just something else about the Green Lantern thing that they spoke of at Comic-Con. They mentioned that, and they only gave a list of several of them, and I won't info dump the lot of them onto you or anything, but they mentioned that they were going to have, including Hal Jordan and Sinestro, there will be 30 Green Lanterns that will be featured in the film. Some of them will, there will be talking parts for the more popular ones. Yeah. Like one called Kilowog, who's always been famous for being the drill sergeant. Yeah. And lesser so as it goes down the line. The majority of them will actually be completely computer generated. Okay. But do you think that that'll be, like we were saying about the Thor movie? Yeah. There is again that danger of there being too many, because they're trying to get all the fan favourites and all of the popular ones. Even ones that are only recent creations in the comic books, that Peter Tomasi or Jeff Johns have come up with.
But it's all down to whether or not there's a relevant reason for them being there. If there's a relevant and valid reason for them being there, and that could be simply that you just need to have seen that face in the background, because in a movie's time that's going to be really important. Or it could just be that actually you need to be aware of the kind of numbers that are around, or it could be that you just need to be aware that there are all these differences, because it would be very easy to just show a couple of colours, but actually you just need people to be aware that there is a spectrum. There's all sorts of different reasons for having them there. If they are the right reasons, then it's absolutely valid.
One last point actually before we move on to other things. The costume. You've seen the pictures of the costume, haven't you?
Have I?
Of Hal Jordan in the costume. There was a magazine cover. And it was completely CG'd.
Yes.
There's like light streams going down it,
Which...
I don't have it to hand immediately, so it's a good thing you did remember it.
Yeah. brain freeze there for a minute.
But you know that with both Ryan Reynolds and Mark Strong, they're wearing motion capture suits.
Yeah.
In Mark Strong's case, he was wearing the makeup as well of Sinestro, and contact lenses.
Yeah.
But everything else is computer generated, so it's like it's a second skin, and so on. They've both actually talked about it being very restrictive and difficult to work in, and they said that it's a little bit of a shame. Well, Ryan Reynolds specifically said it's a bit of a shame they didn't make the suit, and then just kind of just light it up with computer generated imagery afterwards. What do you think of the effect of the first image of Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, considering the fact that it's potentially taking away movement from the actor itself? Do you think that it's actually worth the extra sort of inch to be able to make it look more alien?
I'll be honest, I need to see the movement.
Right.
I don't have a problem with things being CG'd, so long as it is for the right reasons, and that ultimately when you see the movement, it doesn't, you're not affected by the fact that it's CG. When what you see is all about the fact that they've made this very pretty, or this very, shiny or exciting with their CG. Ooh. I'm not interested in that, actually. I want it to look cool, I want it to look good.
Yeah.
But after about 3 minutes, I'm not bothered about what it looks like anymore.
No.
You have your
as long as it works, it becomes kind of a background. Kind of the organic web shooters in Spider-Man.
Exactly.
A lot of people really complain about that, and then a lot of those complainers just shut up afterwards because whether they were organic or mechanical, it didn't really matter in the end, as long as they were there.
Yeah, it was for me.
And it was.
It was more important.
Essential,
It was more important that you went, all right, that's how they've got it working.
Mm-hmm.
You have your 30 seconds in your head of going, arg, it's not how I want it to be.
Yeah.
But the important thing was actually, this is how we're having it working. This is what we're doing. It's done now, whether you like it or not.
So after you initially see it, if you think it works well in motion after you've first seen it, it then becomes just kind of like a background thing.
Yeah, but if it's something that doesn't work, it will annoy me through the whole film.
So it's basically down on the effects guys then.
Yeah. So
probably more weight on the shoulders on the effects guys than on Ryan Reynolds, Martin Campbell, then,
yeah,
all
bit,
that lot.
Bit.
Yeah. Right, fair play.
Ooh.